Good morning, students. Myself, Rohit Kulkarni, welcome you for today's session. Today we are going to study Science Part 1, Lesson number 4, Effects of Electric Current, and the subtopic is Electromagnetic Induction and Galvanometer. So, students, you can open your textbook page number 56, Science Part 1. So, I will begin. Yesterday we have seen about electric motor, Fleming's left-hand rule. Today we are going to move further and we are going to see some of the points like electromagnetic induction, galvanometer, and some of the activities. So see, what is the first point? Electromagnetic induction. We have seen in the previous section that if we keep an electric conductor in a magnetic field such that direction of the current flowing through the conductor is perpendicular to the magnetic field, then a force is exerted on a conductor. Right? In the last session, we have seen that if we keep an electric conductor in a magnetic field such that direction of the current flowing through the conductor in perpendicular to the magnetic field, then the force is exerted on the conductor. Because of this, the conductor starts moving. Now, what we are going to see, what will happen? My question is there, what will happen if an electric conductor is moving in a magnetic field or a magnetic field around a stationary conductor is changing? So this we are going to see that what will happen if an electric conductor is moving in a magnetic field or the magnetic field around a stationary conductor is changing. In order to find out an answer to this question, research was done by a great scientist Michael Faraday. Right? So to find out the answer for the above question, there was a research done by the great scientist. The name of the scientist is Michael Faraday. In the year 1831, Faraday showed that an electric current can be produced in a conductor with the help of a moving magnet. So Michael Faraday, he showed that an electric current can be produced in a conductor with the help of a moving magnet. So the next point we are going to see about that only. So this is the answer for that Michael Faraday, he in the year 1831, he showed that an electric current can be produced in a conductor with the help of a moving magnet. Right? So you can see in the figure also, right, the galvanometer is connected and the magnet is moved, so with the help of a moving magnet the electric current can be produced. So this is about what electromagnetic induction. A simple information is given. Right, now we will move on the next point. The next point is galvanometer. Now see, you can see in the figure a galvanometer is there in front of you. So what is galvanometer? A galvanometer is a sensitive device which detects the presence of the current. So galvanometer is a sensitive presence of the current. So remember what is the galvanometer? It is a sensitive device which is used to detect the presence in the current. Galvanometer works on the same principle as that of an electric motor that we have studied earlier. So we have seen the principle of electric motor. What was the principle? It works on the principle that a current carrying conductor in a magnetic field experiences a force. So this is the principle yesterday we have seen for the electric motor. In the same way, the same principle is for galvanometer, that it works on the principle that a current carrying conductor in a magnetic field experiences a force. We can make some electrical measurement with it. So with the help of galvanometer, we can make some electrical measurement with it. A coil is positioned between the pole pieces of a magnet in such a way that the pointer on the galvanometer dial is connected to it. So you can see in the figure, two pictures are there in front of you, on the left hand side, on the right hand side, right? A coil. So you can see that north and south where it is written a coil is there. So coil is positioned between the pole pieces of a magnet. So between north pole and south pole, a coil is positioned, means it is kept in such a way that the pointer on the galvanometer dial is connected to it, and the whatever the pointer is there on the galvanometer, it is connected to it. The same thing is inside the galvanometer. Now when a small current, for example 1 milliampere, flows through the coil will rotate. So on the right hand side you can see that suppose a small current, now here the if example is given near about, it is 1 milliampere flows through the coil will start rotating, and the rotation will be proportional to the current, and whatever the rotation is there, it will be proportional to the current. Now voltmeter and ammeter also works on the same principle. Means which principle? That it works on the principle that a current carrying conductor in a magnetic field experiences a force. So voltmeter and ammeter also works on the same principle. Now the most important thing what I am going to say is that the pointer reflect on both the sides of the zero mark depending on the direction of the current. So remember this, because we are going to say activities and you will notice this point. In galvanometer, pointer deflects on both the sides of the zero mark depending on the direction of the current, right? So this is about what? This is about galvanometer. So the pointer in the galvanometer deflects on both the sides of the zero mark depending on the direction of the current. So further we are going to say activity. In some of the activities you will notice that the galvanometer deflects on the both the sides of the zero. So this is about galvanometer, right? Now further we have to see more of the activity. There are about 3 to 4 activities one, so we will see one activity. So you can open page number 57. On 57, after galvanometer, the first activity is given. That activity we are going to see. So to perform this activity, we required copper wire, bar magnet, and galvanometer. So these are the things we required: copper wire, bar magnet, and galvanometer. Now see what we are going to do in this activity. We shall keep two stands at a distance of each other and fix each end of the copper wire with each stand. So we are going to see the first activity. What are the requirements? The first one is copper wire, bar magnet, and galvanometer. Now see how to perform this activity. We shall keep two stands at a distance of each other and fix each end of the copper wire with each stand. Now what you're going to do, you're going to two stands at a distance in the figure and this. Let's consider this position of position A. So this position of copper wire A. Now further what we are going to do, connect one wire from one end of the copper wire and connect it to the terminal of the galvanometer. So you can see right on the left hand side, the one wire is connected to the one stand and connected to of the galvanometer. Let us the copper wire and the galvanometer. Another So the other end of the copper wire is connected to the negative terminal of the galvanometer, so which is shown with the black wire. Keep a bar magnet erect in such a way that one of its pole is below the copper wire. Now you can see at the center, a bar magnet is kept in such a way that one of its pole is below the copper wire. Now, so this is the first we are going to do. So what we have seen, let us keep two stands at a distance of each other and fixed each end of a copper wire with each stand. Let us consider this position of copper wire as position A. Connect one wire from one end of the copper wire and connect it to the positive terminal of the galvanometer. And let us connect the other end of the copper wire to the negative terminal of the galvanometer. Keep a bar magnet erect in such a way that one of its pole should be below the copper wire. Now, let us now shift one of the stand away from the magnet. Now you can see on the right hand side, the one end of the stand is moved, right? So let us now shift one end of the stand away from the magnet so that the wire becomes stubbed, right? So you can see the position A, and let us consider this position as B. So after moving that other stand, the wire, whatever the position of the wire will be there, that will be position B. Now observe the galvanometer. Now after this, what we are going to do, observe the galvanometer. What do you see? Right now, what are the conclusion can be drawn from this, that we'll see after moving the stand. We see that pointing the galvanometer gets deflected and quickly come back to zero, right? So you can see in the figure in the slide that the pointer in the galvanometer is deflected, right? And after suddenly quickly what happens, it comes back to the zero, right? So this is the first observation. Then now shift the stand near the magnet so that wire again comes to position A. Now again we'll shift the stand in its original position and that wire again comes to the position A. Now once again observe the galvanometer, right? So once again we are going to observe the galvanometer. Now, so what happens, what is the conclusion can be drawn? The galvanometer again shows the quick deflection, but this time it is in the opposite direction. So remember this, initially when we have shifted the stand on away from the magnet, the wire becomes stub, right? During that time what we have seen, the pointer in the galvanometer gets deflected and quickly come back to zero. Now again shift the stand near the magnet. So once again we have kept the stand in its original position at A, and we have observed the galvanometer. But this time what we have seen, the galvanometer again shows the quick deflection, but this time it is in the opposite direction, right? So initially it was in the left hand side, now the deflection is on the right hand side. Now if we keep moving the wire from A to B, the pointer in the galvanometer gets deflected, and this is called as Faraday's electromagnetic induction. So remember that if we keep on moving the wire from A to B, means if continuously if you're moving the stand from A to B, the pointer in the galvanometer gets deflected, and this is called as Faraday's electromagnetic induction. So hope so all of you understood the first activity. It is very simple and it is very easy. Now we'll move on the next point. Now let us now keep the wire fixed. Now you can see in the slide, the wire is fixed, it is kept straight, right? Now we are not going to move both the stands. We shall now move the magnet away from the wire. Now what we are going to do, we are going to move the magnet away from the wire, means near to the galvanometer. You can see in the slide that the magnet, right, it is moved away from the wire. On observing the pointer in the galvanometer, now observe the pointer in the galvanometer, we see that the pointer in the galvanometer shows deflection to one side of the zero mark. You can see in the galvanometer, when the bar magnet is moved away from the copper wire, we can see the deflection in the galvanometer, and it is on the one side of the zero mark. So it is on the left hand side. Now what we do, now we shall again move the magnet towards the wire. Now we'll move the magnet towards the wire. And once again, we'll observe the pointer in the galvanometer. This time, galvanometer point shows deflection in the opposite direction, right? So maybe you understood what is the difference. When you've taken the bar magnet near the galvanometer, The pointer shows a deflection on one side of the zero mark, and when we have taken the bar magnet towards the wire, once again the galvanometer showed the deflection and it is in the opposite direction. Now this, from this activity we understand that, with this activity we have to understand, these are the conclusion. If a conducting wire is kept moving in a magnetic field, a current is produced in it. So in the first activity that is given on page number 57, what conclusion we have drawn, that if a conducting wire is kept moving in a magnetic field, so current is produced in it. And one more conclusion what we have drawn, if current is produced, if the magnet is moved around the fixed wire. What is the second conclusion? If the current is produced, if the magnet is moved around the fixed wire. So these are the conclusions drawn from the first activity, which is given on page number 57. We'll move on the second activity. The instruments required are rectangular loop, solenoid coil, battery, plug key, and galvanometer. So these are the things required. So we will arrange the apparatus. So see how to arrange that. Take a rectangular loop and solenoid coil. Right. So take a rectangular loop and solenoid coil. Now connect the solenoid coil to a battery. So solenoid coil will be connected to the battery through a plug key. Right. So solenoid coil will be connected to a battery through a plug key. Keep the plug key open. Now in front of you, whatever the slide is there, in that the plug key is open. Let us connect the rectangular loop to the galvanometer, and we'll connect the rectangular loop to the galvanometer. So you maybe you understood the construction. What we have done, we have taken a rectangular loop and a solenoid coil. Now connect the solenoid coil to a battery through a plug key. Keep the plug key open. Let us connect the rectangular loop to the galvanometer. Right. So this is the first thing we are going to do. Now we'll see the working. Now close the plug key. Now you can see in the figure the plug key is closed. Right. Initially it was open. Now the plug key is closed. Now close the plug key and observe the galvanometer. Now we'll close the plug key and we'll observe the galvanometer. Now what happens? The galvanometer shows a quick deflection on one side and again come back to zero. Now what happens after closing the plug key, the galvanometer will show a quick deflection on one side and again it will come back to zero. Remember this, as we have seen already, the same thing happens here. The galvanometer will show the quick deflection on one side and again it will come back to zero. Now why does this happen? Right, after closing the plug key, why the galvanometer shows deflection? Why does this happen? So we'll see the answer. So the current flowing in the solenoid coil produces a magnetic field around the rectangular loop. So why does this happen? Because the current flowing in a solenoid coil produces a magnetic field around the rectangular loop. Now keep the plug key open. Right, now we'll keep the plug key open. You can see in the on the right hand side the plug key is open. So what do we notice now after opening the plug key? Now once it is closed, we have seen what happens. Now open the plug key and we'll see what do we notice. We will notice a quick deflection on other side of zero mark and pointer again come back to zero. So when the plug key is open, we'll notice a quick deflection on other side, means on the opposite side of zero mark, pointer will again come back to zero. So these are the right. So connect the plug key and let the current flow. Now connect the plug and let the current flow. So we move away from the low rate of the wire, faster is the displacement, larger is the deflection of the pointer. So thus we can infer from that whenever one coil or stops, an electric Faraday's law induction. If a current is switched on or off in the coil, a current is induced in the coil, right? Even if the current is switched on or it is off in the solenoid coil, a current is induced in the coil. Such an induction is also observed when current in the solenoid coil is increased or decreased. You can see the two slides. Observe is increased or decreased. It is induced in the coil moving from solar. So from this experiment, it is understood that the number of magnetic
Hello, Rohit sir.